Welcome to the Builders Podcast, episode 39, delivering services that include teaching, diversification, and creating complementary services. Before we dig into this episode, please subscribe to this podcast. We're on Spotify, Apple Music, and elsewhere, and give us a thumbs up if you're on YouTube. Doing that will help us reach more people and deliver these valuable from the trenches lessons to the masses. Let's get started. Hello again. I'm back from my second solo episode number 39, but it's my second solo video episode. I've done lots of solos. One of the reasons I do solo episodes is actually so this whole part of my business is less stress. One of the things I'm very careful with, because I run a busy agency and I'm very busy. I can work nonstop if I want to work nonstop, believe me, 24/7. But it's really important for me to create rules and limitations in my business and my marketing, so something doesn't get out of control. And also, it's important that I build in or kind of create a framework where that it doesn't add more stress that needs to, I don't need that stress. Like I don't want to build more stress into my business. And one of the ways I did that was the first 10 episodes were all solo anyway. So I was figuring things out. But now I could line up guest after guest after guest, repeat guests, and I'm at that point where I don't think it would be difficult to just do guests. But at the same time, I still don't want that pressure of having to schedule a guest and do that every week. And it is. I mean, it's just a little more pressure. I enjoy it. I love it. I love having guests on. But if I'm working and I'm having a busy week or whatever, I don't want to have to scramble to get one lined up if I don't have it. There is additional work involved when lining up a guest than me just sitting here and creating some bullets to talk about today. So, so here we are. So today I'm going to talk about a couple topics. That's kind of the goal with my solo episodes, where I'm at, what I'm doing, why I'm here. And so today I want to talk about, I'm going to talk a little bit about teaching clients. I'm going to talk a little bit about operating as if you're going to lose a client. It's a weird thing, but it's true. You operate like you're going to lose that client. What does that mean? And then a little bit about kind of some of the stuff I'm working on in the trenches. So let's get started. So, well, first of all, before I get started, I hope you don't mind the hat. I actually love wearing hats. My wife doesn't think I look very good in a hat. I don't. She doesn't, because she's probably not used to me wearing them, but I grew up wearing hats. I was heavily involved with baseball when I was a kid, and I wore hats all the time, and even as an adult. But probably in recent years, I haven't worn them as much. Like my wife doesn't even want me to go out with a hat. She thinks I look silly in a hat. I hope I don't. But I don't care. I don't care what people think, even my wife. Although I will respect her and try not to embarrass her with a hat, I guess. But I thought I'd throw one on today. It's my Callaway hat. I do play a little bit of golf. I don't get out as much as I'd like. Sorry, itching my ear. I don't get out as much as I'd like, but I like the spirit of it. I don't know where I'm going with that. Anyway, so let's dive into the episode. So what are we talking about? So let's talk about teaching clients. So I thought of this topic because it's come up in probably just in the last month. I've talked to like 3 different clients about my communication with them and how I operate. And I really operate under this principle that I'm not just there for a client to just do stuff, like to just knock things off that need to get done. Knock things off, check things off as they need to get done. I can't talk today, apparently. But I'm there to help them in any way they need. to achieve goals, to create a roadmap for them to improve their site, whether that's from performance or look and feel, design, or just maintaining the site, whatever. But that's at the core, right? Is that I'm going to be helping with those things. But at the same time, when I'm communicating with them, I'm always providing them probably more details than some other people might. I don't just go in and say, this is done, see you later. I might explain what I did or what the underlying issue was. Now, I don't get too technical with my clients. It depends. I have to weigh it a little bit because some clients are more technical than others. Some have no clue. Maybe they're marketing people. Maybe they've never built a website or managed a website in their life. So they don't understand that. But at the same time, some of those folks are also interested in learning more about their website. So I have one person we'll talk about first. Person number one. I won't name them. try not to name them. So we'll have to guess if it's them or not if they're listening to this. But this first person was essentially, I think I had brought it up because I know that I get detailed with some of and we're doing a lot of stuff for him. But he came back and he was like, he actually thanked me for it. He said, I actually have learned more since working with me, learned more about his website and the issues and why he's having issues and stuff than he ever had before. I'm going to make sure I'm going to move this up so I'm looking at you. And so I thought that was great because now I feel less pressure because my default is actually to tell people a lot. Like when you love what you do, when you enjoy what you do, and you think that everyone else should too. Like you kind of have this kind of approach to everything where it's like, I find it interesting, so you must too, right? But in that case, I think it was more just he has a lot of issues, and I think he appreciated somebody helping him get to the bottom of those issues and understanding them, and also helping him fix them, right? And moving forward and create that roadmap. And so I've been working with him for quite a while. Might have even been like 6 months by now. So it's like a monthly maintenance thing I do for him. I have another newer client, a couple months. The other day we had that conversation. It was, I think I'm the one that brings it up often because I always feel like, oh gosh, I hope I'm not, I hope I'm not sharing too much, too long didn't read kind of thing, right? TLDR. And I just said, I hope you don't mind, and if I do tell you too much, if you don't need to know all this, just let me know and I can dial it back a little bit. And she, again, was, no, share away, teach away, So I think that's what she appreciated that. And I just had a conversation actually yesterday with kind of a newer agency partner. And he, we kind of had that same conversation as well. And we were actually having a phone conversation. We were about probably half hour in of like an hour phone conversation. I'm like, let me know if I'm going too much in detail on these things, but I just want to tell you my thought process behind whatever we're talking about, right? And now he's like, no, I'm a scientist. I like the details. Send me a report with all the details and everything. He's actually a PhD. So that was great too. So there's a third one that really appreciated that. And but this is something that's natural for me. And again, I understand there's going to be those clients that don't need to know all that. And I can sometimes pick up on that and just, get stuff done. But most of my clients appreciate that extra touch. And for me, because we have a higher level of service, we're a little more higher end. I think that is part of it too. We're not doing like low end budget stuff for smaller, their clients aren't super small or I like to recently I was kind of almost started doing work for what I would call the slumlord of the internet. He had that same kind of attitude. It felt like that's what I picked up on, but I'm not doing work for that person anymore. But is sometimes there's people out there just don't even tell me and just get it done and pound, you done yet? And they don't want to work with you. They don't want to build a relationship with you. They just want you to do the tasks, and they don't care. They could care less about you. For me, and this kind of ties into it too, is that when I have a client, I want to build a relationship with that client. I want to become, basically, they're becoming part of the unified web design family, or vice versa. And like First Gentleman, actually, we talked about that. It was like, I want us to be family. And he's like, yes, you are part of the family now. Or there's somebody else, there's another client too that we talk that way. It's like, you're doing work for us. You're still part of our family, because I used to actually work for him. I work for him, and now I do work for him through my agency. Does that make sense? I was his employee. and now I still do work for him, but now through my own business. But that's the type of relationships I think that are or that's the type of thing that's super important to me in my business. And I think it adds value. You become a person to them as well. And maybe that helps when you're real, and people want to work with people they like. They want to work with people that care. And if you're sharing that stuff and you're trying to because it will show through your efforts, if you really care and you're trying to get to the bottom of an issue, or you care about when a problem arises. Like we had something yesterday with one of my clients where we threw the site into maintenance to do an update, and Google came along and decided to send the bot right at that moment, and it messed with their search results, where literally their description was, it had like whatever the maintenance message is, and then it changed the results a little bit. Now the bot since has come back and re-indexed them, and corrected that. Thank goodness. But when that happened, now of course they're freaking out, and they rely heavily on their search traffic and for conversions and stuff for sales. But so they were freaked out, obviously. I try to remain calm. We worked through it. I said, we're not reverting the changes. We're not, this just happened because of this. But I cared enough where I'm like, I'm going to ask that question. Is there anything we could do better next time? And I tried to explain in detail what I think happened, that it was just a total coincidence that this happened. There's not much we can do about that in those situations. But I also looked at some documentation. I did a little research. I said, is there anything that we're missing here that we could have done better? So people, your clients, really appreciate that, because they want somebody that's not just, it happened and they're off to doing something else. And for me, I care about everything, because I think everything has ripple effects, and we need to always be learning. Anytime that something happens with this particular same client, when something, like we're trying to improve their situation over time. So when something bad does happen, we handle it, but then we try to learn the lessons and do better next time. Zen. Continuous improvement. So that's the first topic here. And like I said, I think it's super, super important. Like teachings are really important. I like teaching, obviously. What am I doing right now? I create a lot of content. I consider myself a content creator too, and I'm actually launching a product this next, hopefully, we'll see. I'm trying not to commit to a date. Early next year, that's going to have some training with it. I like to do that, but it also spills over into the services I provide. And it might also be it's not just verbal. It's sometimes in emails I'm teaching, sometimes documents I give them, whatever. So conversations, whatever. Now, the second thing was operating as if you're going to lose a client. So as your business grows, things can happen where you get larger clients, and the larger the client, the bigger the risk if you lose that client, right? So, because if you get a larger client and then you hire somebody, or it helps you, invest in something in your business, and then you lose that client, you're going to have to revert. you're going to have to let people go, or whatever you're going to have to do. I mean, something's going to give, and that's something I'm always conscious of. I'm actually personally, a couple years into this business, 3 years, almost 3 years. I'm in a pretty good spot where I have multiple agency partners. I have multiple direct clients that I do work or maintenance work for, regular work. And some of those are larger, but there's multiple of them, right? And so if I did lose one, maybe I probably would have to make some adjustments, but it wouldn't be hugely dramatic. It's not going to put me out of business. And that is definitely not where I hope to find myself someday. The problem is, I don't know that that's something you can necessarily avoid. If somebody came along and it was, a $500,000 contract per year, I'm not going to say no. But the problem is, in that situation, though, and I would hope that that would happen, great. I would celebrate and I would do my hiring and whatever needed to happen to take care of that client. But in the back of my mind, I guarantee that I would be thinking, okay, I need another couple of these type of clients, or I need to make sure I'm building my business in a way where if that client disappears tomorrow, I have a game plan, or I don't have to worry about it. So that's always where I want to find myself in everything that I'm doing. And it's like with Unified Web Design, at this point, we have a good base of clients. So if any one client drops out, even if a couple clients dropped out, I wouldn't go out of business. I'd still be able to run the business. Like I said, I may have to make some adjustments to my team or whatever, but I'm not going out of business. And hopefully I would be able to absorb that and get new clients and replace them, and life would be good. We have a little bit of a war chest, a little bit of cushion. So that's another topic. But that is, it's super important. So the other thing that you can do, though, besides having, like for us, multiple clients, is you can find other revenue streams. And that is always on my mind as well. And now I have a products background. I've sold many digital products over the years online. Been doing this a long time. I've had memberships. I've had, a lot of different things. So I have familiarity with product sales as well, and building products and stuff. So it's one of those things for me that is also something that I want to do to diversify myself. So that's why I keep talking about this product I'm going to be launching next year, because that's part of the plan, is to create another revenue stream. But to also provide value, I'm also doing it, and we'll get that next, but I'm also providing value to my clients as well and stuff. So it really fits in perfectly with what I'm doing. Another revenue stream, affiliate marketing. I have a lot of affiliate links out there right now, and I throw them out there once in a while. I don't make anything right now. But I used to be an affiliate marketer. So I don't focus on it. That's why I'm not making money. I just throw some banners up. Or if there is an affiliate link for something, I throw it into a blog article or whatever. And I don't think I've made any sales recently, but I don't care. I'm just putting it out there. It's a natural thing for me because I'm an affiliate marketer. So I'm always like, is there an affiliate link? One of these days I'll find that product that I do make a sale, whether it's hosting or FreshBooks. I'm an affiliate for them, a couple others. And that's fine. That's a little, even if it's $10, it's another revenue stream. But over time, hopefully I do, as I build a list, as I build, I do email marketing and stuff like that, at some point that does become a more and more significant part. So for me, my revenue streams, I diversify myself in terms of not just focusing on one client, but it's also having products eventually. It's a long-term plan, affiliate marketing, those three avenues. And maybe there'll be one or two other ways I do it as well. Have a speaking tour or something someday. People, pay me $500,000 to show up and talk for 30 minutes. Think so? No? Okay. Who am I talking to? I don't know. So it's weird talking to yourself. It's weird. I know eventually people will listen to this, but right now, technically, I'm just talking to myself. So it's a little bizarre if you really think about it. I digress or whatever. So the next thing, this kind of segues into that a little bit is, so I've been talking about this product, and I'm always thinking about it. I'm walking the dog, I'm taking a shower. I'll think about my business in some aspect. The other day I was walking the dog and I was thinking a lot about this product I have coming. It's actually a suite of products. It's a kind of, I'm going to be selling WordPress plugins and maybe a theme and along with training. So it's kind of a hybrid situation. But when I'm thinking about creating plugins, like what kind of plugins can I create? Well, I do have a mission around that, and understanding of what I'm going to provide and why I'm providing it, and what, kind of already visualize the sales letter in my head. Like I understand how I'm going to be selling this, but at the same time, I think about other aspects of it. Like if I'm going to create a plugin, can I build it? Can I do this in a way that's going to serve my existing client base? So what do I do for a living? I'm a web designer developer, and we help people build websites, design and build websites, but we also maintain sites. So the thing I was thinking about the other day was, well, geez, maybe I should build some plugins that help people maintain their sites. One of the simplest ones was a maintenance plugin, a maintenance mode plugin to throw your site into a maintenance mode. And maybe we can provide some cool, better looking splash pages for that, or whatever. We can think of things around that. We're talking about doing a block. We're going to be doing a block plugin. I got a tweaks plugin. I got some other things, but the way I'm thinking about it, the lens I'm looking at it through is it could stand on its own as a product, but it can also serve us. It's going to be stuff that we're using ourselves on our websites and our client sites. So, yeah. So I've always believed in, if you're going to build multiple products, do multiple things, tie them together somehow. Because, I think of building products and services as kind of like I don't know, I'm going to make this up on the fly, like a roadway, like intersections and everything flows together, like a city. I don't know. Like I said, I'm making that up on the fly. But how I do think about it, though, is that all my products should complement each other, and I can visualize a person over here that maybe is taking advantage of a service that we're providing, but then finding their way over here through, emails, or, referring them over there, or they just find it through my stuff, and then they buy one of my plugins, and then they maybe go read my blog, and then they go listen to a podcast, but they're all sort of interconnected in some way. Podcast is a little bit different because I talk about business here, and I talk about my business. It's broader in scope, but at the same time, what do we do? What do we do when we're building websites and we're building for businesses? We're building partnerships with other agencies and stuff. What are they? They're businesses, right? I might have a whole episode about agencies. And the product that I'm releasing next year is going to help agencies. So all that stuff kind of ties together. So it's a really, really great way to build things, and and things can scale up that way. I did that back years ago with my digital. I was doing more internet marketing stuff like memberships. I'd create satellite net memberships that were related. I had a broad membership, Extreme Profits. We had a couple. It was Web Profit School, and then it was Extreme Profits. And then from Extreme Profits, I had Affiliate Dynamo was one, Easy Websites. I was building websites way back then for people, building templates for them. And then I had, what other ones did I have? I had a couple other, and I had some, special reports and ebooks that I sold that were complimentary. Oh, Campaign Blasts. That was one of my products, and I had a little mini membership for that, focused. So I kind of have thought about that. I sold hosting because the people that were joining my memberships needed hosting. I included it, so it all tied together, right? There was different ways I could diversify and get more out of my customers and provide them more value. I'm obviously getting more out of them. It's like, think about the insurance industry, right? I was an insurance agent years ago, a couple decades ago now. But as an insurance agent, you might get somebody in for auto insurance or car insurance, but then you can cross-sell them and also get their home, get their boat insurance, get their business insurance, commercial. So they enter in one place, but maybe you get all their business, right? So that's how I think. And maybe that's where it began way back then. So that's that on that topic. And lastly, I just want to say, we're getting towards the end of the year here. I know there's a couple months left. But one of the interesting things that sparks in my brain this time of year is I start planning for next year. And especially November, I feel like I'm doing a little earlier this year for some reason. I'm starting to really think about things as I'm going into the next year. But for me, and I've known others that do the same thing around this time of year, you sit down and you have a lot of sessions around and ask yourself questions like, what's working? What's not working? Do we need to change our goals? Every year I update my pricing too and I have a pricing guide for everything. And so I go through that effort. How is my team? I'm going to review everything, the tools we're using. Like I said, the goals, are we on the right track? What are we adding? What are we going to be focused on next year? What about our marketing? We're doing this year. My goal was super simple. Focus on content, focus on social media and networking. That's all I've done all year. But next year we might introduce some advertising as I have a product now and stuff like that. So that's what I'm starting to do. I'll obviously be talking a little bit about that over time in the coming months. You'll see what I'm doing and stuff either here or you can follow me elsewhere. I'm always posting them on all the social media platforms, Matt Levenhagen or Unified Web Design. I got a business and a personal account on each of those platforms on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. LinkedIn's my favorite. It's just me. And YouTube. So that's all I'm going to talk about today. I hope you enjoyed this episode and there's some takeaways for you. My goal, I've reached my goal. It makes me happy if you can take out of any episode, take one or two nuggets out of there and it impacts you in a positive way in your business, your life, or whatever. That's what I'm here to do. I'm here to not just talk and bore people to death. I'm here to provide some information and ideas and experiences and all that stuff from the trenches. We'll see you next time. Thanks for stopping by. That's all for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed that. Again, please subscribe if you haven't already and give us a thumbs up if we deserve it. If you want to comment on this podcast or provide me with requests on topics for future episodes, please find your way to thebuilders.fm. You can contact me there or add a comment under these show notes. Now a word from our sponsor, Unified Web Design. That's my agency. We build custom websites, features, we maintain websites, we work with agencies to fulfill their web design and development needs, and more. If you're interested in our services or looking for an agency to work with as a partner to build awesome sites for your clients, feel free to reach out to me at unifiedwebdesign.com. There's a handy contact me link at the top. Fill out that form and it will open a ticket and that ticket will find its way to me. Thanks for joining me today. We'll see you next time.